My name is Kwata Kweku Clement, a member of Ghanasco Science and Maths Club. We are to make a project for distilling water for rural areas. This our project, Science and Maths Club. We are actually many. Our number is 45, but we are few representatives of the club, and I'm Kwata Kweku Clement. So this is a project of distilling water. Actually, we have a lot more coming up, but this is the one we wanted to showcase for now because it's about 90% complete for the project. So we have two phases combined. The first phase of the project is production of heat, that's gas, which can be used to cook. But in this case, we've added another part, which is distilling water. So the gas aspect of it can be used for cooking. That's also in the rural areas to reduce the production of smoke yearly in the country, and also to preserve the environment, that's the forest, and it has a first stage with a jar. This acts as a pressure tank, and it's an empty jar which we have inflated with a bicycle pump. So virtually it's just air that we have inflated into this, and the main aim of inflating the air is to let it come and react with the petrol so that it will liberate the petrol gas. Now after liberation, the petrol gas is so bubbled into water. This is water, and the reason is that petrol contains a little amount of alcohol which is soluble in water. So when it passes through the water, the soluble aspect of the petrol, that's the alcohol, dissolves in the water, leaving the pure petrol gas to go to the cylinder. Then we now light a matches for it to produce the gas. So the second part, my other colleague also talk about the second part. So this is actually because of the air, you are not able to see the flame. That's why we are covering it so that it does not go off. So my colleague also talk about the other part of the project. Thank you.
So from this part, you have a round bottom flask, and that's when my brother just explained about. So the round bottom flask over there will be heated to vaporize. So the dirty water inside will now vaporize and pass through that tube over there. That's the feeding tube to this condenser. And over the condenser, there is water inside the condenser that will cool the vapor into water. So in that case, the water will not come out here as a cleaned water or a distilled water. But down here, there is a motor down here. That's DC motor. That is pumping water from where my brother is standing there to the condenser to keep the temperature in the condenser constant. So in that case, the amount of heat, now this one, the vapor contains heat. So it will now cool the heat. But as far as it is cooling, heat will be producing. So that's why this water over there is a cooled water. It's very, very cold. You can go and touch it. Yes. This place, that's a round bottom flask which contains dirty water. And that's Ghanasco Dam water you can see there. So it is heated. Then it will vaporize. When it is heated, it will vaporize. So it passes through this tube up to the condenser. The condenser then cools it. Then it will come out as a clean water. But under it, there's a motor here. That's a DC motor. We use a syringe and a DC motor to form a water pump. So which is pumping the water from this bottle to the condenser to keep the temperature constant. So when the temperature is cooled, it is easily to condense the vapor into water. That is what the DC motor does here. Why do you have to cool the vaporized water that is coming from the round bottom flask here? That is what it does. The condenser just cools it. Our aim to this project is about the rural areas which doesn't have clean water for drinking. We have come up with the idea that if they could help us, the old students could help us mount this thing. This is just a representative of what it would have been like when it is mounted in the villages. So I wish if the August student could help us, then we'll mount it, we'll make it bigger than what it is now, and will help the rural areas in the northern region. That is what we have aimed for. So if you are living in a particular rural area with no clean water and you use this project as we have done here, you will get a clean water, and it will serve the villagers over there to get a potable water without passing through any lot of stress or without getting germs from it. That is what the project is about. This is more clean than the filter. No, the germs, you can't see them in your rear eyes. You can only see the dust. So what they normally filter is the dust from it. But what we have done now, there's no dust and there's no germs. So everything is pure. You can take it.
No, this one involves production of heat. And the germs, at a certain temperature, they will die off. So using the filter paper, you are just pouring the same water without heat. But due to the application of heat, this one becomes more safer. The water becomes clean and the germs are also dead due to the heat. Villages where they mostly rely on charcoal and firewood, which produces a lot of smokes, and every year it contributes to this destruction of the ozone layer. This is an alternative method. It does not produce much smoke, as you are here you can see. It's been burning for long, since morning, and yet the bottom flash has not even become black as it used to. So we know very much that if we use this, in the near future our forest is going to be preserved, and also we will live in northern region like this. We will not be having a high amount of the sunlight because the ozone layer will be intact, no destruction, and we are all going to live okay.
So this fire, where is it?
Fire is actually produced by the petrol. You know, petrol, when you light a matches with a petrol, it will light. But we do not burn it directly because we don't want the petrol to burn at a faster rate. We want it to burn for long. That's why we have bubbled it through the water so that to reduce the rate at which it will burn, so it can burn for a longer time.